In this video, I'm building Lego islands from both official sets and my own weird imagination. Each one gets bigger and crazier than the last. Starting with this one, which is basically just one piece. You can see underneath here, there's lots of Technic holes for different pins to go, and you can kind of connect these 2x4 plates if you want studs for minifigures to go on like this. You could also connect tiles to give it a nice smoother look, or you can connect jumpers for the best of both worlds, so it's nice and smooth, and minifigures can attach to it. I love this play feature with the raised top. The only thing I don't like about it is that the back looks kind of weird, but that's so you can kind of get your fingers in there and raise up the ground, and so you can see this is sunken in. You can even probably fit a body into there, but it's meant to be for if you bury a treasure, like pirates, you bury it in there, and then you can pretend you're digging it up and you find the treasure. Let's go! What's in the treasure? Oh, it's a subscribe button. Please subscribe to my second channel if you haven't already. But the one thing that would complete this island that I haven't put on yet is the classic palm tree. This is so much fun. This island piece came out in the 2009 Pirate Wave, and this palm tree is really old, I think from the 80s or 90s, and it came with one of these base plates back in the day. This is really cool. It's like, oh, it's actually not a blue base plate. It's a gray base plate with blue, yellow, and green printing on it, and this is what you got with your pirate sets back in the day. So you probably not in the middle. You put it on, this is kind of like a donut earth-shaped island here. I was tempted to put one of these into my Lego island layout that we'll be putting all these islands in at the end of the video, but it wouldn't have fit perfectly well. Speaking of that final layout, I know a lot of people are confused with the layout of my city this series 27, so stick around to the end for some more explanation about that as well. But for now, let's move on to Monkey Island. Sorry, I'm gonna come back to that one. I'm so excited about this one, I gotta talk about it now. It was so much fun sculpting this giant Donkey Kong head out of mostly 2x4 gray bricks or light gray bricks. Last year, I bought 1,000 of those guys for the Olympic Stadium, and they came in so handy. It made it so easy. I should really do that with more colors, including dark gray, which I learned later on. But anyways, I think it turned out fantastic. I guess I could have maybe rounded it out using slopes like I did on the back side here. Oh. It has one camera friendly angle side, so you see this is all nice and sculpted. Sorry, the monkeys are like falling left and right here with these slopes, and then knocked a tree over. The back side is a little bit more blocky. The head is sculpted all the way around, but then the back side here is just, there's very little detail. The gray is kind of like, I deformed, I didn't do it quite right, but it is a giant monkey, and if you haven't guessed, it is the map from Donkey Kong Country way back on the Super Nintendo. I loved that game growing up. My grandparents had it on their SNES, and I loved going over there playing it with my brother. I honestly still do that sometimes when I go visit them. I'll play Donkey Kong on their Nintendo. It's a great game with a great world map, and this is some really extreme trivia. If you didn't know, the little intro that I use in my videos, that is from the Donkey Kong Country map theme. Here's the full clip. You may have noticed one major difference between my build and the version from the game, and that is I don't have the random world map markers dotting the mountain. I decided it looked a little bit too messy for the purposes of my raft video, so I'm just gonna cut it entirely. Is that a factory world? Kremkrock Industries? Okay, no, we're building every world map marker, starting with this one. This is DK's house in the first level, and that's gonna represent Congo Jungle. Then the next world in the game is right around here. It's called Monkey Mines, and I decided to build the infamous minecart level from that game. We've got a minecart here with Diddy Kong riding the rails. It's completely broken, so he jumps and then boom, he lands. It's so much fun, so difficult. You always just like skip the level and the little bonus barrel beneath there, but we'll plop that right here. Next up, I guess I kind of already built this world. This is, what is it called? Vine Valley. You can see these palm trees my brother made using these upside down fern pieces. This is all the fern pieces we have. I gotta get more of these because the trees look so good, and this is all of them. But anyway, since I already did this, I want to do something else. So, you know the tree levels in that game that like they have the treetop levels with the houses that look like Ewok houses? Apparently in the files, like the music name or the background name is literally just titled Ewok in Japanese. So we've got these guys dotting the village. Way up top here, like the very top of the mountain, is Gorilla Glacier. And this is one I really considered adding to the island because it's like part of the mountain itself. But with these like snow-capped peaks, this is not how it would look normally, but you get the idea with the shape. Kind of looks like he has bunny ears, so that's why that got cut. This world was absolutely brutal as a kid because the only save station is like 5 or 6 levels in at the end of the world, and the levels are impossible. There's that one barrel maze with the snow that covers half the screen. Ugh. Anyways, rant over. The next world is, if I had to pick a favorite, it'd probably be, not just because it's a factory, but I did build the factory from the world map. Again, this is not to scale in the slightest, by the way. Like the palm palm trees are half the size of the mountain, and then the factory is also the other half. I probably didn't need to make the smokestacks that big, but I was having fun with it. Anyways, we have yet another factory I can add to my repertoire, including these smokestacks with these little ice cream smoke pieces that actually go together. And you'd have learned that technique if you're subscribed to my third channel, where I unbox different Lego pieces and show different techniques to use them. So go check that out if you're interested. And Chimp Caverns, I think it's literally just like Donkey Kong's nostril in the game. There's not really a map marker, so either, well, let's take a appreciation of his cool furrowed brow that Nintendo got rid of in the new Donkey Kong game. This is like the old Donkey Kong has like that dark imprint in his eyes, and it ended up looking a little bit evil. That was not the intention, but it has like the furrowed brow at least. And then his nostrils right there, that's where Chimp Caverns are. And my extra build for this one is Squawks the Parrot, who I know more from Donkey Kong Country 2, but he actually first appeared in this game where he was like the flashlight holder. He would hold the flashlight and blind you temporarily when he turned it on the screen. That always got annoying. Watch out, careful, don't turn around, your fault. Anyways, there we go. Display the bird signal. That's for my 100 birds video. And last but not least, how fitting is it that the final world of the game is a pirate ship? I've got half of a pirate ship here. That's part of the raft we'll try to look at later. But it's chilling in the background here and actually gets like progressively closer to the screen as you progress through the game. I never knew that as a kid. All my raft sails got a little bit wet from you know what. So I'm gonna try to draw my own sail with the Kremling logo on there. Not bad for not taking the time to do proper shading. That actually looks decent, but we can tape the mast to that and plop it on our half pirate ship here. That is incredible. And who better to sail it than King K. Rool himself? Now, I haven't finished Donkey Kong Bananza yet. I've been working too much on the video. I don't know if K. Rool's in the game. Please don't spoil it for me in the comments. I'm guessing he might be because Cranky has not been slick with his little hints. But to offset people who like actually try to be mean and spoil it for me, whether he is or isn't, I just don't want to know either way, please. But please comment fake spoilers for Bananza if you've played it. Just spam the comments with a bunch of fake spoilers so I don't know what's real or not. That would be much appreciated. But anyways, I think we've sufficiently improved Monkey Island. It's so cool to see this image that's been ingrained in my mind as a kid in real life. But I guess we should probably move on to the Viking Island eventually. And I say that like it's a bad thing, but no, this set is great. And it's a really good value. Out of the sets that I bought for this video, this is the cheapest. It regularly goes on sale for under $100. I would recommend picking this up before it retires if you can find a good deal on it. You get 4 amazing figures, a blacksmith shop, the roof can come off. This thing's very satisfying. You can like stoke the flames with one of those bellows. A great lodge with a very fancy roof and a cool interior. And this little watchtower thing, you can kind of get a better view of it on the back side, but it has the cool bridge. And this fully detailed around the back here, a little ore cave. I'm not gonna go into super well detail in all these sets because there's better reviewers out there that have reviewed these literally years ago at this point. But I had a lot of fun with this set, and I had way too much fun doing the Hammer of Justice battle scene here. You gotta see it if it. I spent way, just like ridiculously way too long on it. But the next set is one I found on a crazy good deal, like a 50% off Black Friday sale last year. And it actually ended up being my favorite set of the 3 to build. I think the next set looks a little bit better, especially on the back side. But no, this one was very satisfying, getting the shaping of the clamshell, especially on the bottom here, if I can flip it up without too much stuff falling off. That's so cool how they got the shaping. The plates here lining up are all super satisfying. Looks-wise, it's not super detailed, but no, actually the shaping of the round thing, it's just a lot of cool shaping, I guess. Oh, I'm missing the shipwreck that was here, and Flounder and Ariel. They're not looking too well here. Ariel's tied up and Flounder is hanging up to dry. Go watch the video if you're missing a lot of context. But yeah, I made the mermaids like the villains, or some of the villains of the story. And you can see some of them I still have like turned into humans. That video is crazy. If you've not seen it yet, this is just like an advertisement for it. But we'll talk about this more. We've got the stash here. We've got Ursula's little lair back here. If I can shine the light in, it looks a lot of cool like doodads and whatever in the back there. And then my favorite figure in this is King Trident. Okay, that's where his tail went. Ariel has his tail because it was like straighter to be on the front of the ship. But then King Trident, this is the goofiest minifigure ever. I don't know why they did it this way. If you take his beard off, his face comes off with it. I don't know why they didn't just like make a normal beard like they have before. But yeah, this is kind of cursed. If you notice, there's an Easter egg in the main channel video where I have his face off at one point. See if you can find it and comment the timestamp on the video. But it's just a plain skin tone head. So bizarre. Also, shout out to these corner transparent slope pieces. They're so cool. I can't wait to take this apart and do something with them. But this set, I don't think I can bring myself to take apart anytime soon because it actually surprised me. When it first was revealed, it wasn't like the most interesting to me. And even now, I still think I would have preferred to getting the Barracuda Bay pirate set when that was released because I missed out on that, and that is crazy expensive on the aftermarket. I like that set a little bit more than this one, but it is still very fun, even without having the nostalgia for the original. Unlike this set, which is made up of a bunch of smaller plates, the original had this really cool raised base plate that they kind of recreated here. This had the slope leading up to the front gates, and this piece right here was so satisfying to slot into place. I don't know if I can get it out now. Hold on. Okay, I need to show you guys this. So it has like this crazy sloped wall here, and they're able to use this angled plate here to just effortlessly like clunk it into place. It just has this very satisfying, I don't know if I can do it now actually, hopefully I can get in there, but the click sound is so satisfying. That's it, okay. Sorry, anyways, you get this little front cannon here. I took off the little ram rods that came with the cannons that you kind of put the cannonballs in with. They looked like they were just kind of like sticking out weird while I was filming. I don't know. But the way they did the brickwork with these ingot pieces as the little turrets, very fancy. And the windows, I do love that. I don't love the white and yellow color scheme in general, but they did it the best they possibly could have. Here's the crane tower. This thing is always just like flying around in every single shot of it. It's very fun. The little prison cell that we saw in the video, both windows, this one's supposed to come out, but this one's not, and it keeps like going in there. The roof can come off for better lighting. We got this really fun thing where if we have a pirate, say this one, you can slot her down here, and she's supposed to, this took a lot of takes. I think I had to take her little skirt piece off here to make her fit smoother, but that's a cool play feature. More of the walls here, some palm trees in the back. These palm trees are so much sadder than the old ones. It's just one single curved horn piece, and I don't know, they were so cool before. And then the captain's study up here, very fun, kind of light on interior detail. I mean, it's not really an interior per se, but it's just like a little desk in there. But three really cool things about this set is it comes with this boat. This is, I think, another remake of an old classic set that they just combine in with this one. And this assembly on the hull, it's made up of tiny pieces, but it almost looks like it's one big prefab piece. I love how they did the shaping there. I also love, this is a new color for this boat. This is like the classic rowboat, and it's in dark brown now, so that's cool. I didn't feature these pirates in my video, but the set also comes with 2 extra pirates. And then finally, you can remove chunks of this set. Oh wow, I forgot about this. This is like the dock. This will make more sense later, but there's like a little trap door. Where is it? Put a guy on there, and oh, well, okay, he's just gonna go lay down and boom. That's really fun. There's actually a lot of interior detail here I was just complaining about not having. It's actually underground. But there's a way to rearrange this set so it stretches out lengthwise. This can fit on more shallow shelves or whatever. And I definitely prefer the main version, but this is still pretty cool. I don't know if I did this perfectly, but I think this especially right here, this is more of their wedge plate shenanigans. You can clip that right in there, and the plates just fit so well together. I love that. And this chunk that was buried in the middle before makes way more sense as a dock. Got him. I'm trying to decide if this is my favorite island set of the 3. Comment down below which yours is. I think this might just barely beat out the Viking village. But speaking of narrow favorites, the narrow escape of the volcano might be my favorite part of the raft video. If you haven't seen it yet, I made it way more dramatic than it had any right being. But just like with Monkey Island, I had so much fun just sculpting this out of basic brick, and you might be able to see it, especially on this side. I tried to cover it up a little bit more on the front side, but especially the back side, you can see I used a base of big ugly rock pieces. You can even see in this time lapse of me building it. And this wasn't actually the first draft I built. It's very helpful to sketch out a little quick skeleton like this when you're building a giant build, because it kind of helps you map out the shapes, the size. I obviously made it way bigger than my skeleton, but I wanted to have this footprint and to slope up gradually and then get a little bit steeper and then peter at the top with, you can't really see it. If I turn it, it's gonna fall, but there's a hole on top. Trust me. The only problem is this is very fragile, and I've been keeping it together so long. I've had to rebuild it so many times because I wanted to do this video. I could have filmed this beforehand, but it's gonna be very therapeutic to finally smash it. Yes. Anyways, the reason this is so much taller is because I used the big ugly rock pieces, and that kind of like dictated like how big I could have done it. I was trying to do 1, 2, 3, 4 big ugly rock pieces high, but then it wasn't small enough at the top, so I had to go another one, and I'm really glad I did because this size is so impressive. If I had sloped it up differently, maybe I could have gotten away with 4, but like I said, I'm glad I didn't. And then because burps have these hollow studs in the top that I didn't want you to see, I painstakingly covered every single one of them with either 1x1 bricks until I ran out, and then I started using near the back here, 1x1 plates. And then I ran out of those too. You can pretty much name any dark gray piece, and I basically ran out of all of them. I exhausted my entire 1x1 brick supply. 1x2, 1x3, not 1x4 actually.
I have 2 left of those, so don't worry.
But definitely 2x4, 2x3, 2x2, it was a mess. I can't imagine how many pieces it would have taken to fill this in solid. Luckily this is hollow like volcanoes are. This is gonna be very tricky to show, but very satisfying. I love picking it up like this. It's like strong enough to do that. I just was using it as a handle to like move it around my room when I was doing different shots and stuff. But let's see if I can move it to see the bottom of it. I'm knocking off pieces. Look at that. You can see my camera's freaking out at this. You can see I'm breaking so many things off. That is a very cool view. The underside of the big ugly rock pieces, some plates I used to stabilize them, and then a bunch of literally my entire gray brick collection right here in one fantastic view. I kind of want to show you from the other side. Let's do that without breaking off too many pieces. There we go. Wow, you can kind of see one of these shots in the video where I have like the 99 years coming out of it, but like this is, you can see, wait, can I have something peeking out from there? It's a gorilla. I know this is supposed to be like an inactive volcano when they got there, and it doesn't make sense for them to be like there to be orange flowing lava, but that's a looks thing purely. I had orange bricks here, and then I had a layer of transparent. There might even be some red in there, buried in there, to make sort of a gradient. And then it looked really weird only having this one flat layer on the top, so I added these bits dripping down, and that really helped. And then partly because I used all of my bright green palm leaves on Monkey Island, I resorted to lime green palm leaves for this one, and I used all of my lime green ones. You might be noticing a pattern here. And on its own, I don't love lime as a plant color. Like I've tried to use these in different mocks I've built, and they just never fit in. But for some reason, it really works here. We got the lime and the orange. Like maybe just because it reminds me of power miners, that's what I'm thinking. This is like a volcano. Maybe we got the lime on the bottom and the orange on the top. It's perfect. And then these parrots and their nest provided a nice splash of color on top of that. I don't have them there now because they're kind of a pain to put because their tails stick out, and so there's very limited spots they could be. And I had to have some of them facing the wall like this, like it's in a timeout. But I got so many comments slamming me for calling this a parrot. Yes, I know it's a cockatoo, but a cockatoo is a type of parrot. Obviously, maybe I should have been more specific, but I don't know. Also some deep lore. He actually goes by his middle name, which is Doodle, for a very good reason. His first and last name is Cockatoo, right? And so then his full name is Cockadoodle too. Okay, and then finally we have Treasure Island, which ended up looking a little bit too similar to the first island, but maybe that's like a full circle moment where you start and that's a hero's journey kind of thing in the same place. I wish there was a better way to do this X marks the spot. I had to sticky tack these two corner wedge plates together. We've got the Twitter bird, we've got Clunka, of course, at the end here. And I actually got this set for a different video, but it came with a bunch of different Clunkas. So we've got Chief Clunka, we've got a Clunka catapult, we've got Clunka in jail down here, Clunka on a little hamster wheel. Anyways, sneak peek, I guess. But speaking of alternate versions, this is also where we met Sand Gloppy with a starfish, seaweed, and a little shell on his sandy body. And I have to pull up the ukulele. I am so sorry. I filmed the Treasure Island scene at 3 in the morning before posting the video. I was a little bit delirious, and I accidentally hurt Gloppy, so I hope you can forgive me. I hope Gloppy can forgive me. It was a severe lapse in judgment. How did that go? Severe and unfortunate lapse in judgment. Gloppy, I love you, buddy. But anyways, spoilers for the raft video. If you have not seen it, go watch this before watching this part. But some of you are very interested in this yellow gem that was in the treasure chest, and I'm not gonna spoil the name for it. I'll talk about this way more in my next main channel video, but I will give you the initials, the TT. And this certain gem is the key to how I'm doing 27ville this time. I've always wanted to do a city where it's islands, where each figure has their own little island. But I realized when I was planning this that it would be so unfortunate to like have to plan out the size of every single build before I start doing that. Normally I just kind of like do on the fly, and then when I have a giant skyscraper blocking out the city, then I have to deal with that. But for islands, you need this, like the land mass of the thing. It doesn't matter how tall it is. You need to know how wide it is before you start building any of them. And I could not deal with that. So I'm saying one of this magic powers is it can change the size of land masses, right? And so it popped up 12 land masses around the island when it started. But obviously, Pearl's house is not gonna be this small. I have way more room on the city there. I don't have a ton of room, so the islands are gonna have to be like you know, around the size of 22, 23ville houses. But that means I have a lot more creative flexibility to do different sizes of islands for the different builds I do. And I was meaning to do a build for Pearl in the same raft video. I decided to, well, that was at like 4 a.m. I built that raft factory, terrible build instead, just because I needed some place to fill that line. So I'll end up doing hers in the next video, which is the fan favorite Wolfpack Beastmaster. So comment your name suggestions for this guy below, and I can't wait to get started on his house, and her house for all that matters. Before I leave you with all 7 islands on the table at the same time, I wanted to show off the raft in more detail because the size of it is basically an island at this point. However, spoilers, but that is no longer possible. But at least this chunk is intact, and it might be my favorite chunk of all. This is the monkey tiki bar. We don't have the monkeys working there anymore, but I loved doing all these little details with the different bottles and fruits and these cups hanging up there, and the blender that she uses like an air tank. Tiki torches, these cool tikis. This is from a design I saw online, but like these log pattern bricks I used on the sides. Those are the mouths. Also, I don't know if anyone recognized this, but I still have this stickered banana build. I also have the watermelon build from the 24ville farmers market where we had the fruit bros, otherwise known as fruit. And it just fits so well because monkeys like bananas. Very fun. Followed by a close second, I think the pool I liked, and I didn't notice until after I saw the footage. I completely broke this like brown piece. I broke so many. I kept a bag of all the brittle brown pieces I broke throughout the filming of this raft video. And then just filming this one, I stepped on this one. That was really sad. But I hope if you're sad or mad or glad or plaid, you enjoyed this video. Go watch the full raft video as I've shouted out so many times. And you can see this minifigure Pearl visit all these islands with crazy action scenes.
But then, yeah, this is why the islands are gonna have to be kind of small, because this is ridiculous.